MGTOW, IBMOR, warrior. I had to take a few days off to get my mind right, but I'm back. And today, we're going to talk about getting through a breakup. This is a topic that's very near and dear to me because I had a breakup about 2 years ago, and it definitely in the past 2 years has affected me a lot. I think I'm just now coming to the point where I'm healed from it. So we're gonna get into this, and the jumping off point of this video is going to be an article that is from the Facebook page called Hobusters. And the E in Ho is spelled with a 3. So it's Ho3 Busters, Hobusters. And if you go to that Facebook page, first of all, like that Facebook page. It's a great page. And in the notes section toward the top of the page, there's this wonderful article that the admins of the page have written. And I'm not going to read you the whole article. You can go to the article yourself if you'd like to do that, but they list 5 points to get over a breakup or to survive a breakup, as it says. The title of the article is Surviving a Breakup. No, I'm sorry, the title is No Contact, Surviving a Breakup. And 4 out of these 5 steps I wholeheartedly agree with. So I have to use this as my jumping off point here, and I'll riff off of some of these things, interjecting my own experiences and also at the end. So let us go in. Number 1, realize that the first few weeks are going to be extremely painful. You're going to experience an emotional pain that is almost as close as losing a family member. But just realize it's going to get better. And you're going to become a better and badder person. So, yes, for me, it wasn't the first few weeks, but it was definitely the first year and a half. Okay? And it was very rough. And you're deep in this despair and this pain and this anguish and this guilt and this shame and this inadequacy and this betrayal. You're deep in that. And you feel like there's no way out of that. Like you can't get out of that because you've been in it for so long, like I was. But certainly it does eventually get better. Time does heal. So just know that if that's you right now. Number 2, and this one is important, realize that it isn't your fault. No matter how much that other person tried to make it seem like it was, the shit didn't work out for a reason. Remember, it's not your fault. This one really spoke to me because women have this amazing ability to flip the script and make it seem like everything is your fault. Even in situations where intellectually you're thinking, the bitch is wrong, I'm being reasonable. There's no logical way that I'm being the unreasonable one, but women are so good at emotional manipulation that she'll have you thinking, damn, well, am I wrong? Like, was I wrong for this? So this number 2 on this article really is pertinent because realize it's not your fault. Even if you did some things that were less than perfect, we're nobody's perfect. I know in my previous relationship, I did some things that were less than perfect, sure. But when I really separate myself from the guilt of that, I realized that all in all, overall, I wasn't being the unreasonable one. And fellas, you have to realize this with women. Most of the time, you have to realize that you're not being the unreasonable one. She's being the unreasonable one, because 9 times out of 10, the woman is going to be the unreasonable party. Okay? You just look at the fucking expectations that they put out there, that they have for a mate. And any older married couple, you always hear the woman shitting on the man, bashing the man for nonsense, for stuff that doesn't even matter. And the guy is just basically on some yes dear, yes dear, yes dear, yes dear, trying to yes dear her to death. But yet, let her tell it, he's the one that's wrong with the damn relationship or the marriage. Fellas, it's not your fault. This is something I had to learn because I had so much guilt and shame around my role in the relationship not working out. I had so much guilt and shame, and I replayed things over and over in my mind. And I even apologized to her profusely, groveling. Back then, not realizing that I should not have done that because I was not as evolved of a MGTOW as I am now. So realize that. You're not at fault. 9 times out of 10, the woman is the one being unreasonable. If you know intellectually that you're being perfectly reasonable, there's no reason to question it. Don't fall for her emotional manipulation. Number 3, and this one also I learned from, delete all contact information. That means phone numbers, message apps, etc. Don't reread old text or emails. Delete all pictures or send them to a place that you'll never go to look. Unfollow, block them if you have to, on every social media platform. This is crucial to the recovery process. It is crucial because you're going to be tempted to get in touch with someone who does not want to speak to you. So, this is super important. You're going to be tempted to get in touch with them, and even if you're just Facebook stalking them, but most likely you're going to be tempted to contact them. And this is what happened to me on my journey, is that for about a year, a slightly over a year after the relationship was over, we still had this occasional fuck buddy, friends with benefits thing every once in a while when I was in town type thing going on. And every time I did that, it was just prolonging the healing process. So yeah, my penis enjoyed that time period, certainly, because the sex was amazing. I mean, we had amazing sex all throughout our relationship. But I can tell you right now, as a living witness, it wasn't worth it. It was not worth prolonging that healing process. It was not worth prolonging the process of getting her out of my life altogether. It wasn't worth it. Number 4, and this is the one that I actually disagree with. I'll read it. Number 4, and it's actually pretty funny. Run through some ass. This sort of might not be the best advice. This is literally what they wrote. This sort of might not be the best advice, but the best way to get over someone is to get underneath someone else. Now, clearly I disagree with that. I actually tried that. I tallied up, and in the 2 years since my breakup, I actually smashed seven different women, not including her. And it didn't help at all. If anything, it made matters worse, because I'm not the guy with the most options in the world, so I don't just have pussy on demand. So the incessant craving for pussy made me crave my ex's pussy, and thus bringing back all the feelings from the relationship. Now, in my more evolved state of MGTOW, I don't chase pussy at all anymore. I know that, as the great Barbarossa said, the juice is not worth the squeeze. I call myself now like a borderline monk. Because if a bitch were to come up to me and just bend over and hand me some free pussy, I wouldn't turn down nothing but my collar. But my days of chasing pussy are over, and I'm prepared to go without pussy indefinitely because I know I'm not the type of guy who bitches knock his door down to give them some ass. But I'll tell you this, I'm done chasing pussy because the juice is simply not worth the squeeze. And even with the women that I did sleep with after my ex, after I slept with them, I felt exactly like that. I was like, damn, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. It wasn't worth all the effort, all the messages online, and all of the trying to coordinate our schedules and all of the playing your little games. It wasn't worth all of that just for this. Just for this. Damn. And the chick is still sitting there on my couch, and I just wanted to leave so badly. And I was feeling that way after every time with these women. So that's the one point on this list that I disagree with. But anyway, number 5, and this is the one that actually hit me the hardest, and I really want to touch on. Number 5, know that the length of time determines the recovery process. So don't think you're automatically going to get over that person. It's going to take half the time you were with the person to get over them. And they give examples. 1 year, approximately 6 months to get over them. 2 years, approximately 1 year to get over them. And I found that to be very comforting because I found this article months ago, and it really comforted me because I really felt like something was wrong with me, that I couldn't shake this feeling around my ex and all this other shit like that. And true to form of this article, it'll be 2 years in April, and I feel now that I really am free. I really am free. And there's a lot of factors. I had to go through a lot with that. And just getting off of the list now, I'm kind of just freestyling now. I talked about my drinking in the last video, but I've always had sort of an addictive personality with drinking, with food, with anything, with the internet, surfing the internet, whatever. I've always had a very addictive personality. And this breakup, 2 years ago, I was with the chick for 4 years. For almost 4 years. Okay, so it's been almost 2 years since the breakup. And the breakup in the past year and a half to 2 years, it exacerbated all of those deficiencies I already had. My drinking spiraled out of control. All of these things that were deficiencies in me spiraled out of control. My depression, I've been battling off and on depression for as long as I can remember. My depression spiraled out of control. I pretty much began a permanent state of depression, and it spiraled out of control. And I know somebody needs to hear this video. I know somebody needs to hear this message today. I really was spiraling out of control, and that really led me to this point in so many ways. I talked about having a rock bottom moment in my alcoholic video. But there were many rock bottom moments along the way, if that's possible. And they helped shape me into the more evolved MGTOW man that I am today. Because sometimes we need that pain and that suffering and that hurt to mold us. And the great thing about not trying to numb yourself with alcohol and these things is that you get to dive right into those feelings head first and feel them course through your body so that they run their course. That's what you have to do. Let those feelings of hurt and pain and anguish course through your body so that they can run their course. if you try to numb yourself with sex with other women, with alcohol, with drugs, with food, with constant internet addiction, it only prolongs the healing process, and sometimes it just halts the healing process altogether. I did a meditation as well. That's another thing that you could do. You could do meditation. There's meditations on YouTube for breakups specifically. You could do, I highly suggest looking up a guided meditation on YouTube for a breakup. If you're going through a breakup, and do the meditation and do it honestly. I highly suggest that. I highly suggest during the meditation, you just let your body feel all of those emotions and identify them by name. As you noticed earlier in the video, I was identifying those emotions by name: guilt, shame, betrayal, okay, inadequacy. I had to give those emotions names so I really could understand what it was that was eating away at me. And once I identified those emotions by name and really allowed them to course through my body, they began to run their course, and I began to be able to release them back into the universe. And I began to think logically about why I was feeling this way. And a lot of it was, as I said before, I was a person who, like most men in America, worshipped pussy and chased pussy. And this woman was probably the best sex I ever had, number one. And number two, the other factor is that she made my life comfortable. And what I say by that is that all my friends are pretty much in relationships or married, as well as my mom liked her, everything like that. So it allowed me to hang out with my friends more because we could do couples things together. It allowed me to have my mom off my back because she loved the girl. And so it made my life very comfortable, but not comfortable for me, comfortable for everybody else. And now I realize, I'm like, fuck that. I need to do what's best for me. Even if I don't see my friends as often, or even if my mom isn't pleased, like, fuck it. I'm not living my life for nobody else. And then with the pussy thing, I was going around and having a little bit of sex with other girls, but it didn't give me the same high as it did with my ex, so I felt even worse after having sex with those girls. But now that I'm pretty much disregarding pussy altogether, and I'm getting my shit together in every other aspect of my life, it feels so good. And I don't have any really feeling toward her at this point, because I realize those two things. That pussy's not that important, and that I don't have to live for anybody else but me. And I had to come to these epiphanies after a long time of anguish. But I'm here to tell you, if you're going through this, I'm here to tell you, my brothers, this shit's going to get better, but you have to evolve. You have to evolve. Also, another thing, besides the meditation thing that I will suggest, is also create. I'm very careful about saying, what a man is and defining what a man is, because I think as a man, you define what a man is in your case. But in general, a lot of men do well when we're creating. I'm not going to say all men, but a lot of men do well when we're creating. I am a creator in a lot of ways, not only on YouTube, obviously, but with music, with writing, with several things like this, with several artistic ventures. So when I'm creating, I feel good. When I'm making these videos, I feel amazing. When I'm creating on my musical keyboard and I'm making music and I'm recording music in my little home studio, I feel amazing. If I'm not creating, I feel stagnant. So also with meditation, also creating, okay? And also, like I said, naming those emotions, identifying them, and really letting them course through your body. And also just really identifying the core and the root of why you feel the way about your ex that you do. And those are like 4 things. Let me recap them just for the people who are very linear and need to have that laid out. See if I can remember. So meditation, you can look up guided meditations on YouTube specifically for breakups, okay? Naming those emotions and allowing yourself to feel them one by one and allowing each of them to course through your body one by one and releasing them one by one. That's number 2. Number 3, digging into the core logical reasons why you feel broken over this person and really wrestling with and analyzing those things. And 4, create. Okay? And just 5 as a general rule, a general principle, focus, and this is pretty much anybody's advice that anybody would give you. Focus on the other areas of your life that you know you need to get up to par on. And you'll be surprised that without chasing pussy, you can get so much more accomplished. Okay? So with that being said, I hope this video reached somebody. I hope somebody got what they needed from this video out there somewhere. I know somebody somewhere is going to hear this video and get something that they need from it. So my brothers, I'm here with y'all, fighting with y'all. MGTOW, IBMOR warrior. I'm out this bitch. Peace.